Good day, my people, my people, my people. My name is Chief Strongblood, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo. The evil powers that be does not have a conscience. It is their sole intent and desire to destroy the life of their victims and to steal their souls. However, they do not like to take or carry responsibility for their actions. The embedded warnings for the general public in their songs and in their movies. However, they label those form of entertainments as fiction. We look at these movies, we listen to the songs, we learn the words of the songs, and we get the surface meaning of these songs that are played on our radio stations and in our homes. But the underlying meaning are clearly missed. Although the message they want to get are cleverly hidden in these songs, they absolve themselves from the responsibility of your destruction by saying you did not heed the warning. They are fully aware that if you understand the messages in these songs, that you will stay away from the evil powers that be and anything they have and are involved in. One such song with a dark, sinister undertone is the 1977 song Hotel California by the Eagles. When I lived in New York City, I attended the Kingsborough Seventh-day Adventist Church. I was not a member of the church. I never saw the need to transfer my membership to that church. I started attending the Kingsborough Seventh-day Adventist Church on a regular basis because of its music ministry. Unlike the regular Seventh-day Adventist churches, the Kingsborough Seventh-day Adventist Church has a very lively and spirited song service, which they call praise and worship, like the Sunday churches. They had very professional musicians and wonderful singers. One of the things I noticed is most of the people, as even the young people, did not want anything to do with me. I had a few friends, which were mostly some older West Indian ladies, one Haitian young man and a Trinidadian young man. However, I went to Kingsborough Seventh-day Adventist Church because I dearly enjoyed the music. In 2012, I purchased an RV and I left New York City. I went to see America. I was out of New York City for quite a while. I spent 4 or so months in Durham, North Carolina, a place I fell in love with. However, when my RV got damaged, I returned to New York City. When I returned to Kingsborough Church, something strange happened. One of my friends came and told me, "I hear you went to California. Are you back now?" And about 4 or so people who did not want to have anything to do with me came to me with a very friendly and welcoming demeanor, said to me, "I heard you went to California. Are you back now?" However, they were all disappointed when I told them I did not went to California. I was in North Carolina. These encounters did not make much sense to me. I wonder what this is all about. I wondered why were these people who did not or never tried to be friends with me suddenly became friendly with me, or because they thought I went to California. It is after I came to California and lived here for a period of time, I understood why my friend and the other members of the Kingsborough Church who were not friendly with me was happy that I went to California and now returned to New York City. I did not understand what this was all about. I did not understand why it was so important for me to go to California, and why those people who did not want to have anything to do with me were happy to see me after they thought I have returned from California. But now I know why. The 1977 song Hotel California by the Eagles have a dark undertone, message that the world is expected to receive, but that message is cleverly hidden out of plain sight. I'm going to take this opportunity to uncover the dark under message in this song, which should warn you to stay away from everything of the Caucasians, the evil powers that be. The song started on a dark desert highway, cold wind in my hair. The warm smell of colitas rising up in the air. What is this dark desert highway? This dark desert highway that the song starts with is a code for a journey the writer of the song has taken. Desert, another word for deserted or lonely. The part that says cool wind in my hair means that he is either driving a convertible or he is driving with his windows down and he can feel the cool wind blowing through his hair. But then it says the warm smell of colitas rising up in the air. Colitas is a code name for marijuana. So if the cold wind is blowing through his hair, how is he able to feel and smell the warm smell of colitas rising up in the air? It means that on his journey, he was actually smoking marijuana, and the cool wind was blowing the odor and the heat from the marijuana cigarette which was in his mouth into his face. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my eyes grew dim. I had to stop for the night. The light that he saw in the distance, a hotel sign or a motel sign that tell people an establishment is in the foreground. His head grew heavy and his eye grew dim. When a person's head grew heavy, it's a sign of apprehension. And his eye growing dim means that he was overwhelmed with the thought he was confronted with. The next line of the song says, there she stood in the doorway. The way this is phrased, it gives the impression that the writer was expected and he knew exactly what to expect on his arrival. So when he saw her, he declared, there she stood in the doorway. There she stood in the doorway. You may be asking yourself, who is she? What does this female represent? This female represents the devil, the angel formerly known as Lucifer. There are two significant things that your preachers do not tell you about the Creator God and all of the creatures that are found in His heavenly kingdom. The main thing that the preachers do not tell you is that all of the creatures in His heavenly kingdom looks like their Creator. The closer they are to their Creator is the more they look like their Creator. Satan, the angel formerly known as Lucifer, look very much like his Creator. And that means all of the creatures in heaven are black. Every book of the Bible, the apocryphal writings that describe the creatures of heaven, books like Daniel, Revelation, the apocryphal book of Enoch, they all describe the creatures in heaven and the Most High God as either being bronze, polished brass, gold, or amber, like flame. The creatures of heaven are not white, as they are portrayed in drawings and in books. The second quality of the creatures of heaven that your preacher does not tell you about is all of the creatures that was made by the Creator God that dwells in His heavenly kingdom are all male. The Most High God have a son. He do not have a daughter. His chief angels are Michael, Gabriel, Phaneal, Raphael, Uriel, and Lucifer was one of the chief angels before he betrayed his calling. They were all male. Even the ornaments that adorn his kingdom, the candlesticks, they are all masculine. And they are the 12 elders that sit around his throne, on 12 thrones with 12 crowns on their heads. They are the 4 beasts. All of the creatures in heaven are male, masculine. When Lucifer and those creatures that were deceived by Lucifer were cast out of heaven, the Most High stripped them of 2 things. He stripped them of their nice amber or golden color, and Lucifer was also stripped of his masculinity. He became female, while his followers maintained their masculinity. There she stood in the doorway. So it says, there she stood in the doorway. I heard a mission bell. This could be heaven or this could be hell. Most of the time when we experience something, when we see something or hear something, and become apprehensive or suspicious of what we see, we say, boy, a bell went off. The fact that he says he heard a mission bell, this is an exaggeration of the level of apprehension he experienced at the time when he arrived at his destination. He immediately knew what he was greeted with is not what he expected or was promised. The next line of the song says, "Then she lit a candle and showed me the way." There is a paradox here. Remember earlier in the song when he was many miles away from the establishment that he now arrived at? He saw a shimmering light. That means they had an electrified sign whose light traveled a far distance. But now we see the facility was being lit by candlelight. This was another red flag. This is what happened. The evil powers that be always create a fantastic picture of what to expect to entice you and to lure you into becoming their victims. A perfect example of this, in the 1950s, France and England invited the citizens of our once colonies in the Caribbean and in Africa to come to their countries for a better living, a better opportunity at life. They painted a picture as if monies were growing on trees. There were lots of jobs, and the jobs were high-paying jobs. However, when those people that took up the opportunity and traveled to France and England for a better life, they discovered the reality was nowhere near the expectation. The reality was nowhere near that which they were told it was going to be. Later in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, the United States of America extended an invitation to the world to come to the United States of America for the American dream. Like France and England, the American dream was sold to the world as an opportunity to become rich easily. When many of those people who left their families and friends behind and journeyed to the United States of America to find a better life, arrived here, they discovered it was all a lie. They had to be working 3 and 4 jobs just to make ends meet, to keep food in their stomachs, clothes on their backs, a roof over their heads, and the opportunity to be able to send a barrel at least once a year to their friends and families and other loved ones in their country of birth. And if they work hard enough, they were able to send a few pounds or US dollar in an envelope for their friends, families, and other loved ones on birthdays and especially at Christmas. They could not return home because there were too much people who depended on them for help. So they grind their teeth, work 3 and 4 jobs just to try to make ends meet. The powers that be created such terrible conditions for their invited guests because they knew if things became too easy, they will not be able to accomplish their goals. And their goals was to destroy their lives and to steal their souls. Those people who journeyed to England, France, and later to the United States of America for the American dreams had a very hard time living in those countries. They will literally do anything to avoid being evicted from their homes, especially in the winter. There was a shame that was associated with being evicted from your homes, and such an eviction is a sign of failure. But more than that, to be evicted in the wintertime is about literally surviving the extreme cold weather that France, England, and the United States of America has. They were told and encouraged that a harmless act of homosexuality will solve all of your problems. Those who became pregnant were encouraged to have abortion because a new baby will only compound their living situation. Others were raped, and when they were raped, they had no real place of redress. Some were given promotion, some were given a raise of salary, and other perks. And because they did not want to upset the apple cart, they kept their victimization is secret. On the Hollywood scene, entertainers are given recording contracts and movie deals, but only if they give the evil powers that be the authority to destroy their lives and to steal their souls. When he was walking down the corridor to his room with the lady who greeted him, and that lady represents the devil, he heard voices says, "Welcome to the Hotel California. It's such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here." Remember, he did not see anyone. All he heard was the voices. And these voices was the voices of the reprobates, those who were deceived and are now trapped. They are slaves. It is their desire to see if they can entice anyone who is not so trapped to become a victim of the slavery that they now experience. Let me give you a personal experience that I had. There was a young guy, a Mexican guy, who the evil powers that be in California tried to use him to try to entice me into homosexuality. And he would say things like, "Oh, he loved butt sex, and butt sex is sweet," and so forth. Unfortunately for him, he did not know that I understood what happens when you get involved in homosexuality. You see, he wanted me to think that homosexuality is an innocent sexual action with no consequences attached. This is what the voices he heard on the corridor is saying. They were trying to convince him that the decision he is about to make is the best decision to ensure that he does not have second thoughts or change his mind. This is the sole responsibility of the reprobates, those who are already slave and want to ensure that you too becomes a slave. They were letting the new possible victim know that it is a harmless thing and he will enjoy it because the hotel is a lovely place. You may be asking, what is the Hotel California? The Hotel California is a parody for the white man's kingdom, the kingdom that is ruled by the evil powers that be. Any place on earth where the white man has control over the resources is Hotel California. California itself, the United States of America, and all of Europe, because the same thing that is happening here is prevalent in every white country. The second verse of the song started, "Her mind is Tiffany twisted. She has Mercedes Benz. She got a lot of pretty boys that she called friends. How they dance in the courtroom. Sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember and some dance to forget." Now her mind is Tiffany twisted. Tiffany is a popular brand of jewelry, and the Mercedes Benz is an expensive luxury car. What this part of the song is saying is that she, the devil, he has wealth enough to give you the things that you want. Jewelry, houses, cars, but only if you participate in those things that will give the evil powers that be the authority to destroy your life and to steal your souls. She got a lot of pretty boys that she called friends. This is a hint to male homosexuality. The pretty boys, those men who dress very flamboyantly, drag queens, metrosexuals, homosexuals. The next two lines are very interesting. How they dance in the courtyard. Sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. Their dancing is the pleasure, the parties that they attend, the liquor and the drugs they use. They use the pleasure of drugs and parties and entertainment to help them forget the foolish decision they make and the consequences of their decisions. While others dance to remember how beautiful life was before they were deceived and caught into the web of destruction that now bind them forever. The next lines of the song said, "So I called to the captain to bring me some wine. He said, we have not had spirit here since 1969. We have to remember that this song was recorded and released in 1977. That means the song would have been written long before it was recorded in 1977. This 4-line is a callback to Woodstock. It's 3 days music and art fair that is also referred to as the Woodstock Rock Festival. This took place in August of 1969, and it has been talked about for many decades after the function took place. It attracted over 460,000 people. Woodstock was noted for the open and free use of illegal drugs, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and LSD. It was the first time in American history there was such a large, open, and uninhibited use of illegal drugs. It seems that at Woodstock, the use of illegal drugs were lawful. So what they were really saying, that they have not served alcohol in that establishment since Woodstock. And after which we go to the chorus. We explained the chorus already. The third verse says, there were mirrors on the ceiling, pink champagne and ice. We are all just prisoners here of our own device. The mirror on the ceiling is the perversion that those people who are involved are expected to get involved in. So it means that there are people who get off just by watching the perversion, not by participating, but by looking at other people participate.
I got them off of Epstein Island. I cannot say where they are in the world. What I can say is when they got into the boat, they were roughed. Want to know how they ended up on Epstein Island? They auditioned to be models for music videos. When they got to Miami, they had to show and turn over their ID, and they collected their passports, and then they drugged them. And then the next thing you know, they were in a storage container getting fucked by a bunch of weird strangers on camera who were bidding for all of the terrible things that were happening to them.
Pink champagne and ice. And it says, we are all just prisoners here of our own device, which is generally truth, because all of the people who were ensnared by the evil powers that be wanted something that they thought were more important and had a greater value than their freedom or their souls. And in making the sacrifice, they sacrificed their souls for that thing which they wanted so badly. In the master's chambers, we gathered for the feast. We stabbed it with a steel and knife, but we just could not kill the beast. After they have done the unthinkable, they have surrendered their freedom to the evil powers that be, given them the authority to destroy their life and to steal their souls. Now, they were trying to destroy the evil powers that be. That when they stab it with a steel and knife, and they could never kill the beast. And the last thing I remembered, I was running for the door. I had to find a passage back to the place I once was before. Then said the nightman, we are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. What is happening here is after he have committed himself and offered himself as a sacrifice, and he have experienced the change and his mortality confronted him, he wanted out. He did not want to have anything to do with it. He did not want to have anything to do with the choice that he made. That is why he was trying to get to the door, to get to the place where he was before. But he was greeted with the reality by the nightman. And the nightman told him that they are programmed to receive. Once you have gotten involved, you could check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. In this case, if you want to get away from this, you can kill yourself, but even death will not free you from the decisions that you have made. Welcome to the Hotel California. My name is Chief Strongblood St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo.